I've never been the kind of person who enjoyed the outdoors. The idea of sleeping in a tent exposed to the eerie silence of the wilderness never appealed to me. But during the summer after my second year of college, my roommate Jake managed to persuade me into going on a weekend camping trip with him. He was relentless in his enthusiasm, and since I had no concrete plans, I agreed, completely unaware that it would become one of the most horrifying experiences of my life. Jake, a seasoned camper, took pride in his rugged 2014 Jeep Wrangler, packed to the brim with gear. Everything from a top-of-the-line tent to fire-starting kits and survival tools. He had an aversion to traditional campgrounds, claiming they were too domesticated. Instead, he preferred the thrill of venturing into the deep wilderness to set up camp in the middle of nowhere, far from civilization. We spent hours navigating through winding mountain roads, gradually ascending deeper into the Rocky Mountains. The sun was beginning to dip below the horizon when Jake finally spotted a break in the dense tree line, an unmarked opening just wide enough for his Jeep to squeeze through. Without hesitation, he veered off the paved road and plunged into the forest, the vehicle jostling violently over uneven terrain. Branches scraped against the windows with a sinister screech as we pushed forward, deeper into the unknown. Eventually, after several tense minutes of off-road maneuvering, Jake found what he deemed the perfect spot. An isolated clearing surrounded by towering trees that cast long, skeletal shadows in the fading daylight. The eerie silence of the forest settled around us as we hastily began setting up camp. We built a modest fire pit, arranged our chairs, and erected the tent, all while the sky faded into an ominous navy hue. By the time the fire was crackling steadily, night had fully descended, enveloping the forest in a mirror of my own panic. Then more sounds followed. "Help!" a voice shrieked, distant yet unmistakably desperate. "Please, no." Each word was more frantic than the last, choked with terror. And then, the loudest, most gut-wrenching scream of all was suddenly cut off, mid-scream, as if something had abruptly silenced whoever was crying out. A deafening silence followed. Jake slowly turned back to me, his face drained of color, his breathing ragged. We were miles from the nearest road, miles from civilization. No one else was supposed to be out here. We didn't say a word. We didn't need to. A single unspoken thought connected us in mutual horror. We needed to leave. Now, panic set in as we frantically began throwing everything into the back of the Jeep. We didn't bother disassembling the tent. Jake simply ripped the stakes out of the ground and shoved the entire thing inside. The fire was still smoldering as we jumped into the Jeep, slamming the doors shut. As Jake turned the key in the ignition, I fumbled with my phone, desperately trying to call 911. The reception was weak, my screen flickering between one bar and no service. Somehow, miraculously, the call connected. I stammered through my explanation, my voice shaking as I relayed what we had heard. "Stay on the line," the operator instructed. "We're dispatching a trooper to your location." But as we tore through the forest, retracing our path back to the road, the call dropped. Navigating in the dark proved difficult. Branches clawed at the Jeep, and the uneven terrain made every second agonizingly slow. It felt like an eternity, but finally, the road appeared in the dim glow of our headlights. Jake slammed on the brakes as we reached the pavement, unsure whether we should wait for the police or get as far away as possible. That's when we saw him. A lone figure emerged from the tree line ahead, stepping into the faint glow of our headlights. He was wearing jeans and a black hoodie with the hood drawn tightly over his face, casting his features into deep shadow. He moved strangely, his head hanging limp, his gait slow and unnatural. And then, as he stepped further into the light, we saw it. He was dragging something, a large, heavy object wrapped in a dark, dirt-stained sheet. The fabric snagged against the uneven ground, the weight of whatever was inside unmistakably cumbersome. My